All right, I mentioned in the intro to this show, one of the biggest headlines is what happened last night in women's volleyball. And I'll be 100% honest right now, I never expected to be talking about women's volleyball. But however, the Nebraska women's volleyball team set a record mark, the highest attendance ever for a women's event at 92,000 people and 3 fans. That is absolutely remarkable, as I mentioned in the intro as well. Anyone that wants to go and watch those videos, the walkout, the stands, the crowd, the roars, it is sensational. I mean, we look at a lot of these Super Bowl events or March Madness events, Super Bowl events, whatever it might be. But I'm going to specifically go to basketball in the sense that typically they'd play in a big stadium, whether that be an NFL stadium of some sort. And you put the court, middle of the field, whatever, and you have people around it. Well, a lot of those NFL stadiums don't fit 90,000 plus people. That is what they did last night. And I just will say this: the sensational fact about that is that crowd, the love for the women's team, to have 92,003 people in attendance for a game is absolutely remarkable. And I think it's huge to say this because I know for a long time we've always had the stigma about women's sports. Are they going to be able to continue? And are they going to be able to finally get fans and pull in more money and bring revenue in and so on and so forth? Well, let's just look at this. The fact of the matter is that women's volleyball set a mark for 92,003 people. Now, I'm not a volleyball expert, so I'm not going to get into that, but I don't know how many men's teams have had that type of record audience. I'd have to imagine they haven't, but I'm not going to get into that exact data. We look at just the 92,000, that's just a sensational number. But we look at this volleyball event, sensational. We go back to March Madness times, and it's fair to say that maybe the most appealing, no, I'm not going to say maybe, the most box office appealing brand of basketball during the March Madness was women's basketball with LSU, Angel Reese, Flazzie Johnson, that team, as well as Caitlin Clark in Iowa. And there's obviously other great teams as well. But the traction, the attention, the eyes that came upon the sport of women's college basketball grew tremendously in a very short time span. And so that was something that I think a lot of people looked at and with intrigue, saying, well, this is interesting. They're setting all these records, all these viewership records, all these attendance records, all these big time records are being set back in March. And it was the start of something. And now we weren't able to say it's officially been established. The branding is there. We'll have to wait till the season to get more extensive data to see how much this women's game has grown in the collegiate ranks. But we look at this Nebraska game last night. We look at what they did in March Madness for the women's tournament. And it should be exciting, to be honest, because the fact of the matter is that these are entertaining events. Obviously, people have attention to want to go watch them. And I'll be honest, you could easily make the debate that watching the women's tournament run with LSU and Iowa and Caitlin Clark was probably more entertaining than a lot of the different men's college tournament bracket. And I love men's college basketball. March Madness is incredible. My favorite time of the year. But that's just how attracting, how appealing that brand of basketball was being played between those two teams specifically. And so we'll see what continues to go. But I think it's very, very cool to see just the growth of women's sports. Major props to them. I'm excited to see what guys got in store for the next chapter over the next year, to see what all these different sports as they continue to grow. And we'll see if it gets to the professional ranks as well.